Belissa and Pablo, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations on a second season of Happy Place. It struck me as I'm watching the series that we don't get that kind of television show very often anymore. It's becoming rarer and rarer. Is that something that you guys are kind of aware as you're working on the series?
Definitely. I think it's multicam. This was my first multicam. So um, it's a different art form, I'd say. Like it's a mix of theater and live television and just, or not live television, but it's so special to be on one because it is, I hope, making a resurgence. But for a while there wasn't a lot of that family kind of comedy as well. So it's really nice.
Yeah, it's such a unique form. I feel like Belize and I don't think we've ever talked about this. We've had a very like traditional actor career in a way that is unlike what our peers are living, you know.
Yeah.
We both did a broadcast network show like that was single cam and now a multi-cam also on broadcast network. That is so rare now.
Mhm.
So it's really funny that we're doing what was considered many years like ago traditional, and this is just like now incredibly unique and a different way of doing this art. And it 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 lasts the test of time because it's timeless and it's so special in the way it's created.
Mhm.
Yeah, because you hear all the time about like how like some of the formats are changing. A lot of times series don't get more than like 10 episodes a season, but you guys are still on NBC and then you can stream it later, but you have 18 episodes I think was the first season and it allows so much time for your characters to grow. How nice has it been to be able to live in a character for that long and then to have the opportunity now to come back for a second season and to explore it even further.
I think it's such a blessing, and it's also I've taken it as a challenge as well. You really want to grow the character as a human being would grow, and not just stay stagnant in like what you do and what you know. And I think the writers also do such a great job of that, of giving us those tools or on the page of like, okay, didn't expect her to go this way, but I see how she got there. And it's very um human. And I think that's so nice to be able to really stick with the character and understand them.
And it's also like a joy to be able to spend so much time with each other. Sometimes my favorite episodes are the ones like personally that I have maybe not that much to do, like story wise, but then you just get to come in and say like kind of discover things about your character in very little segments that are actually kind of funnier and like bigger part of the lore. Like um just a little joke here and there that you're like, oh, this person had this in their life. I don't know. I like that. And I like that there's so much time to play with all those variants.
Mhm.
Yeah, I had to start in that on that aspect of the show because I grew up on all those shows, for reruns of stuff in the late 80s and then stuff in the 90s. So when I was watching it again, listening to that laugh track and just watching the format, I was like, oh, this is the kind of stuff I grew up on. Like I like this kind of show because it gives you time to grow with the characters. Belisa, tell me a little bit about what you've enjoyed about Isabella and what we can expect from her.
I think what I love so much about Isabella is she's very honest in her struggle. She's so open, like she wears her heart on her sleeve and she yearns for community and love. But she also yearns for a better understanding of herself. And I think that's something so universal for everybody. At some point, they're like, who am I? That question. And she's in that stage of her life right now. And we really get to see that in this second season. Um, and I love that.
We love Steve. Pablo, tell us a little bit
Yeah.
about what we can see more from him.
Yeah, I think Steve this season's gonna keep pushing himself out of his comfort zone. He's gonna like take that journey he was in season one further into being like, okay, I'm like pushing to become a better person and like also get out of my habits and how do I do that? What are my new passions? So he's gonna explore that, and they're like silly passions, and not
Mhm.
silly, but just like the way you go about it are just is very interesting. It's a very funny season, so I hope people are like also excited to tune in because we have some very heartfelt moments, like we do. I think that's our MO. But then this season, we've had some episodes that are just farces, and they're like hilarious.
I think, yeah, I think you really hit it on the head onto why these shows are so important, especially for, us and watching television is because yes, they're all usually, have a lot of funny moments, especially with Melissa and with Reba. But at the same time, at the core of it, there's always a heartfelt message. Is there
Mhm.
anyone in particular from the first season that maybe touched you a little bit extra emotionally?
I know for me, I always like Gabby's character. I really love her, and I think her struggle in the first season that we saw, we see it a lot in the second season too. But there's an episode, I think it's Ladies' Night, where being vulnerable of us being a single woman, and I just thought it was so beautifully done. Melissa's so talented, and it was amazing being able to watch her do that because we all know her for her comedy, but she can really, really make stuff powerful.
Yeah, I
For you,
was
Pablo?
some of my favorites are maybe coming on season two, so there's not much
Mhm.
to say about that. So I'll just kind of keep up because there's some great moments. I think Belissa had this upcoming season. I think from season one, um, I just I think that episode where Steve like kind of just talks about his it was something I also learned as a person that I didn't know is like that people sometimes dealing with some sort of mental health struggle. Part of the journey of therapy is not that you will get fixed one day and then you get to stop. It's just kind of realizing that the fixing isn't just always continuing to work on yourself and kind of always being on that journey. And that for me was such a learning curve because I mean, I don't have OCD, but I do have stuff that I deal with. And that also spoke to me because I was like, oh, maybe the journey is not just like I go to therapy and then in 10 years I'll be like healed. It's just the healing happens in just working on yourself every day.
Yeah, that was such a beautiful episode. Pablo did it so beautiful.
It's so sweet. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's great that I love that you guys get to wear these different skins and explore these different characters and with different emotions and really get to learn from other people that you guys are playing. That's what I love about you guys, and that's what I love about getting to chat with you both. But also as actors, you guys have this great opportunity as being young Hollywood, awesome talent, but you get to work with like a Reba McEntire and tell me a little bit about what that's like for you guys. And how you approach it as far as not necessarily as an actor or actress on set, but as maybe as a student of the industry.
Yeah,
Mm,
I mean, for me, I look so much at Reba as her being a number one, and she carries herself with such genuine kindness and humility and grace. And I think that that's it shouldn't be so rare, but it is. And so to be able to witness that um, is really amazing. And it's I think everybody should take lessons from Reba in that regard. Just her work ethic, the joy she brings. It's amazing to see. And then of course she's an amazing actor and singer, and you learn so much from that too. But I really take it in a professional sense of her just as a professional. Great, great person.
yeah. My recurring joke is that she's ruined number ones for me because if they're not all as kind and as great as she is, then what are you doing? Like if anyone ever comes with like the stereotype of an entitled perspective as a number one, I'll be like, well, Reba didn't, so why
Yeah.
why are we coming here with this
Why
attitude?
are we
Just
going?
explain this to me.
It's
Yeah, it's great. It's just such a, and also I'm learning from everyone in this cast. Like,
Mhm.
I think also that the job of a number two in a show is super hard because you're like right there really supporting that number one, and Belisa does such a fantastic job at that. It's just uh it's always like carrying a lot of like in a lot of the weight in a way that's maybe not as recognized as what people consider the number one. And I've seen that, and I've learned from Belissa a lot. Then Melissa is also like a great person that's taught me how to like approach everyone on the crew, just being that energy that's always positive. And then Rex and Tokala, just incredibly awesome people just working on this show.
Yeah.
100%. Billy, that actually leads me to my final question, really. How did you develop that chemistry with Reba, for that number one and number two? Because I'll be honest, even me, when I first saw it, I was like, man, is this gonna work? I was like, wow, like the contrast is there, the age gap, and like so much. And I was like, I'll be honest, I had a little bit of my doubts, but that was quickly, erased by watching the first, one, two, three episodes. How did you guys develop that chemistry?
It was really easy. I think, um, I believe every project is meant for you when you get it. And I think it was one of those things where Reba and I and all the personalities in the cast just meshed really well and complemented each other. And I think Reba and I really have that natural sisterly relationship. We're both very playful and sarcastic. And so we didn't make any like conscious effort. It was, we were very lucky to have it just be there already when we started. And that was pretty magical.
Awesome. Belissa, Pablo, thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me. It means a lot to me to get to talk to you both, especially working on a show like this. Like I said, we don't get to see them very often. So to see you both, star in one, and actually I'm at an NBC local affiliate studio, and your guys' faces on my wall because there's the Happy Place poster. So I
Yeah.
walk by you guys every day. So thank you so much for your time, and it was lovely to meet you both.
It was
Thank
so
you.
nice meeting you, Manny.
Yes, nice to
Take
meet
care.
you.